Okay, well, we're back for round two. It's been so long, we forgot what we said on the first episode.
That's tough.
Do you want to tell people how long it took us to set this up remotely?
Well, I have now fallen asleep, so we may or may not be delirious at this point. But yeah, remote is not a great option for us.
We got to record more together. But okay, so we were going to do like feedback on the first episode,
Oh no.
but we kind of forgot what people said because it's been so long. I think what was some negative feedback you heard?
Honestly, I don't think many people watched it, so I didn't really. My husband made it through 15 minutes, and I think that was it.
I think that's higher than the average.
Honestly, I felt negatively about the fact that I bored myself because it just kept going. So maybe we'll avoid that.
Yeah, make it shorter this time. Jacqueline, our sister, said that we probably shouldn't be dependent on alcohol. So that was a takeaway.
Yeah, I mean, but that's just life. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if that can
And
be
then someone said that we must have really shitty husbands.
Oh yeah, my husband said, "Wow, it sounds like you hate your kids and your husband." I said, "He only made it through 15 minutes." I'm sorry, that's what you
Got better.
And
then
sometimes you are shitty. I don't know.
do better. No,
Do more.
we don't have shitty husbands.
Now he's not going to make it through 5 minutes.
Let's start bashing the kids now. And then someone said we should be more ourselves. You know, we were too like worried about what we sounded like, so we've got permission to really be like. So
we did get feedback that you couldn't hear me, and I needed to talk louder. And nobody's ever told me that in my entire life, so that was cool. I have
usually it's
permission to
the
talk
opposite.
louder.
Yell, Meagan. Okay, I thought we could do like a bad mom's confession. What's your bad mom confession of the week?
Oh my. Okay. Do you want to start since I have to come? Well, that might not be hard to come up with one. But you want to go for it?
Mine is that I thoroughly enjoy when my children curse.
Oh.
It's fun for me. Yeah, I promote it. So I don't even like bother to check myself when I'm talking. And I really like it. Like one of my favorite memories is you remember Hayden when we were sleep training Hayden, she'd be banging at the door and be like, "God damn it, let me out of here." And I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah. No, that is funny. Yeah. I mean, I think it's funny until they do it in school, and then you could get kicked out of school. So hopefully they start to learn that's a bad word. I think they're just like still stuck on repeating. I mean, Hayden probably knows at this point.
Yeah, no, I think she
but
knows,
Ava will drop a nice little F-bomb here and there.
Yeah.
So
they'll go back and forth and be like,
just
"Fuck,
because I'm
fuck."
her mom. And, yeah, that's a good video too. We do have a good video of the girls just fuck back and forth for like at least a minute. So pretty funny.
I think they were a year and a half at that point.
Honestly, at this point, Waylon's almost a year and a half, and his only word is more, and he says ma.
And it's better than the F word.
Definitely not fuck. So, yeah, I think they were a year and a half. We got to go back and find that video. Yeah, I mean, it's not a proud moment share it. For sure.
That's why bad mom confession, you're allowed. So it's still now, I do really enjoy when she curses. So I think I'll start training Tucky to curse.
I mean, I think I did teach Hayden her first swear word because I would just whisper it in her ear and then hope she would repeat it.
Yeah.
So maybe it was my fault? I don't know.
No, I don't think so. So that was mine.
Okay. Of the week or just in general? Okay, of the week. What did
that was not, I guess, of the week, but
honestly don't know what I did this week. Ooh, okay. I really relate with the fact there's like some memes going around that their kids call weekends tablet days. And so I really relate with that. I think that screen time is a big thing in our house. We try and push more screen time. So like Waylon, our son, won't watch a show, and my husband and I are both pretty upset about that. And try and get him to watch a show, and we have yet to find one that he'll watch, and it's really disappointing for us. But also, I could see Ava just understanding that weekends are tablet days because we watch a lot of screen times. And you hear the debates on, oh, you shouldn't give any up to, 2-year-olds should have zero screen time. And, oh, I let my kid watch an hour every week. And it's just, I don't even know how to respond because that's a
Can't
laughable
track
amount
it.
of time for us. Screen time is just, how we parent around here some days. So, yeah,
We like to make it easier on ourselves.
yeah, you just need a break sometimes.
Yep. Yep.
Or all the time. I mean, some weeks are better than others. Today, we got home with, minimal meltdowns, which is also surprising. And then we played with our dollhouse and we didn't turn on the TV once. So some days
You
you
win
win
some,
and
you
some
lose
days
some.
you don't.
Yeah. I think I thought of going back to my confession, I thought of that because today when we were walking out of the daycare, Hayden was yelling titties.
How?
So
What?
to go back to
Why?
that, she just goes, I love titties.
Perfect.
She was
That's good,
breastfed for
Tommy.
too long. Yeah.
Huh?
She's breastfed for too long.
Oh, that'll happen. Or Tommy just talks about boobs a lot.
That too.
That'll happen too.
But no, we also like screen time, and I think we saw that meme too. And Tommy was like, "Oh yeah, it's tablet day." Hayden.
Tablet
She
day.
gets on board. She gets excited about it. So tablet day, woo woo.
Oh yeah.
I don't feel
Love
like
it.
that's that bad.
I mean, I basically just don't ever join a mom's group on Facebook because
Yeah, no.
the comments back and forth, just make you feel like a subpar parent with things. So a
Yes,
lot of
that
things, but
that reminds me. I had this down too. I saw some of the things I saw. This one person that I follow, I think you're either born with a kid that eats, I mean, maybe they eat well at first and then they transition to toddlerhood and they start eating nothing, or they survive on gummies and like water, and for 3 days they've eaten like a goldfish smushed into the
cracker.
carpet. So that's, or they, have always done well and it doesn't matter. Like it has nothing to do with you, like what you're doing, right?
That's
It's,
fair.
does your kid
I think
eat
that's a
or
really
not?
common misconception too. Like, oh, I'm gonna cook for my kid. They're only gonna eat what I cook, and that's great if you can get your kid to do that. But a lot of times they just won't eat it.
Yeah, exactly. So then this girl posted, I cook all meals for my son and all he eats is everything that we eat. He
Yes,
is not allowed to eat anything besides the dinner that we put in front of him, and he eats it all.
that's great.
Props to you. It,
It's really
it
good.
wasn't you. You just probably had a kid that likes to eat. My son likes to eat too, but not the
Hayden
daughter. So
is
that kind of makes
not.
everyone else feel like shit that didn't cook their meal and force them to eat what you're eating.
Yeah, I mean, good luck with that. You can't force Hayden to do anything, so it's not going to
No,
happen.
no.
Oh,
She
bad mom
eats.
confession. When I pick up Ava from daycare, she asks for a double double, like a
That's not that
cheeseburger
bad.
from McDonald's.
That's not that bad. At least there's protein in there. Hayden asks for vanilla ice cream, and I've been giving it to her every day after school, along
Nice.
with candy. So she eats sugar every day.
There.
And then nothing else besides maybe a chicken nugget and ramen noodles.
All health foods.
No nutritional value.
Oh, yeah. You know. But yeah, no, I definitely think that people have that conception probably before they have kids, or if they have a kid that might eat better. Like Ava's always eaten good, whatever we give her for the most part, depending on the day. So yeah, it really varies kid to kid, I think.
What one thing we wanted to hit on was we were talking a little bit last episode about how we have kind of transitioned to we both use daycare. And there's so many people that make you feel bad about using daycare, and you don't want to be with your kids 24/7 necessarily, or you want to work. So I think that was something like you're just constantly hearing that. And there's so many people online too that are talking about it now, how daycare is like saving for them, but then you get all these comments back being like, oh, you shouldn't have had kids if you're not going to raise them.
Right.
So
That's tough. That's a tough one. Yeah, I think that's really hard because daycare is so beneficial to many kids, social interaction. There's a lot of benefits. But just the concept of if you want to have your own individual life as well and not spend 24/7 with your kids, that's always like, oh, ooh, yee. Like, oh, she works and sends her kids to daycare, or like I think that is frowned upon. I think it goes up and down with what society thinks is normal or not normal, and putting too much pressure on yourself with what other people think is always going to be an issue. But yeah, no, I mean, I think it's funny because anytime you say things out loud that maybe you shouldn't tell other people all the time, you get that like concerned look, like, oh, why did you just said that? Like, I think I was saying, I don't know who I was talking to the other day, and I said something about it's just not enjoyable to come home because some days when I pick up the kids, it's just crying nonstop from when I pick them up to when they go to bed. And you're just counting down the hours until they go to bed. And then you just kind of like go to work, do it again. And so I'm just like not looking forward to spending time with the kids. And so to say that apparently is really upsetting for some people. And I got looked at like I was a crazy person that I said I didn't want to spend more time with my kids.
well, we love spending time with kids, but obviously the mornings and right after daycare is like they're so emotional, and it's a roller coaster. It's
The
really
mornings, the
terrible.
afternoons, the
So
evenings,
it's
the
every
weekend,
time that you're with them, it's
any
not fun.
hour. We had
Yeah,
like a really good stretch of like 30 minutes today, and that was good.
yeah, that's not bad. That's probably a record.
Yeah,
I
no,
think.
literally, without a
And then,
meltdown.
yeah, we also got a comment when we were like, yeah, it's really hard putting them in daycare when they come home. Then they're really fussy, like it's nonstop. And then they were like, oh, yeah, when I'm a mom, I won't be putting them in daycare. I'm going to be watching them myself.
Yeah,
I'll want to be with them instead.
right. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
All the judgment. Good.
Thank
That's
you.
good. Good for you. Maybe your kids are different, or maybe
Yeah,
you're different
I don't know.
and you just cope better or something.
You're just a better mom. We've had a hard time transitioning from two kids to one kid, from two kids to one kid.
Two
I don't
kids
even
to
know how
one
many
kid.
kids we have from
That's
one
really
kid to
tough. Yeah,
one kid to
that
two
would
kids.
be really tough.
It's been a hard transition from one kid to two kids. And God, I'm just thinking of so many things now, things people are saying to me recently. And I was telling someone this, and there was an older man, and he was like,
Okay.
"Oh yeah, that was a breeze for us." I was like, "They're so close in age, and it's been really hard." And he was like, "Dad, that was such a breeze for us. That part was easy." I was like, "Who responds like that? First of all, and second of all, I can guarantee you it wasn't a breeze for your wife. You probably just weren't present."
Yep, yep. That's absolutely fair.
So
Interesting
maybe
comment. Just,
this episode we can call shitty things people say to moms.
I mean, we would just be really going. Yeah, I mean, you definitely hear the debate of like what was harder, the transition from 0 to 1 kids or 1 to 2 kids, and I mean, I think just kids is hard. But I think I agree with that. For us, the transition from 1 to 2 was definitely harder, for sure. And I think the mom pretty much takes on a lot of that load, especially when people get older and forget about having young kids. And then, older males will typically make those comments. Anyways, we did get some feedback that we didn't stay on topic very well and bipped around from topic to topic. And,
So we're going to
anyone
do the
that
same
knows
thing
us,
this episode.
yeah, it's just going to keep happening. So if you've already lost what we're saying, we
So
have
have
as
we.
well. Yeah, so have we. So we're not sure what we've said or what we need to say, but yeah, I mean, I think we did want to kind of hone in on a specific topic as much as possible. So I think we wanted to we did get some people, that identified with a lot of stuff we were saying yesterday.
We were saying a month ago.
A month ago, because it was not, in fact, yesterday. And was like, yeah, like I wanted to get my husband to listen to your podcast, or, and Justin, my husband, was like, why would someone want to listen to your podcast?
Why would a male listen to your podcast?
He was very confused. But they were expressing some of the same struggles that we were talking about, and just, parenting in general, but, co-parenting with your husband and how hard that is. But you wanted to hone in on one particular topic. And Brenna, what was that? I just can't even remember what you said to talk about. I'm just going on and on about who knows what.
It's awesome. Oh my God.
Hopefully you can cut some of this. So, yeah, we wanted to touch on one kind of particular topic so that we could hone in and not be all over the place, which is probably not going to happen, but here we try. Here. Jesus Christ.
This is going to be an editor's nightmare.
Really hard for you to edit. We really wanted to touch on kind of one particular topic, and I think what came up the most was kind of comparison. And I think that's what everything pretty much is, where you hear other people comparing things, you compare yourself to other people, but especially comparison within your relationship. And I've talked a lot about resentment with my husband and therapists and stuff. And so I think a big part of marriage is little resentments that build up here and there. And, whether that's from parenting or household chores, resentments can build from anything. But that's kind of what we wanted to go into, was comparisons and how that builds resentments and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I think, people are like, hey, well, it's not my husband not helping me do this that makes me feel really bad. It's not as bad as this guy because he did that, and he's not completely neglecting his family. So I asked,
neglecting them, not a big deal.
Just partial neglect, yeah. So it's not as bad. It's okay. So you kind of justify it and make excuses for behavior because it's not as bad, even though it still makes you feel like shit, or you're the one doing everything, you're carrying the mental load of everything, but you're justifying it and you're not able to communicate it because you're like, okay, well, it doesn't seem that bad in comparison, or your husband's like, well, hey, at least I didn't do this. But you should still be able to communicate with your husband about that, and like we were talking about, expecting more. You shouldn't just, hey, it's all right. I feel like we let our husbands get away with, it's so easy on them. We just take all the hard stuff and we're like, oh, well, yeah, he couldn't watch both the kids today because it would be too hard for him to watch both of them by himself. He's got a football game, so he can't watch both of them. So I'm just going to take both of them with me.
Are you talking about people in general? Because you're not talking about me, because I forever am leaving both of them.
No, I wasn't talking about you. But I've heard people say this multiple times. Like, oh, I can't leave them with my husband. That would be too hard for him.
Right. Yeah. No, and then you just kind of take all those responsibilities on yourself. Like, oh, well, I'll just bring the baby with me so it's easier. on him, or, oh, well, I'll just pack the diaper bag, because you're the one that thinks of all these things.
Yeah.
And so you just do them. And so then it's just expected, and, oh, they just go with the flow because, why not? And so I think you really have to explain, like, hey, these are the 10 things that I'm thinking about before we leave the house. And, I always wonder, like, how is my husband so calm all the time? He's just like no anxiety, just really calm in all situations. And he'll tell me, you need to calm down. It's not that big of a deal. Like, and I'm like, well, these 17 things that I was thinking about got me really worked up before we got in the car. And what were you thinking about? Like, did you pack the diaper bag? Did you make sure the kids had a change of clothes in case one of them shits their pants? Did you pack their water? Did you pack snacks in case Ava decides she needs an apple? Like, no, what were you thinking? I'd love to just get inside. Like, what were you thinking about while I thought about all of these things before we had to leave the house? Like, I'd really love
Right.
to know, because I don't think that, depending on the person, I don't think there's a lot of like forward thought going into certain situations. And so, if I bring that up and I'm like, hey, I feel like I'm carrying more of a mental load, or I feel like I'm taking on more of the household chores, sometimes I'll get a response like, oh, well, I mow the lawn. It's winter.
I cleaned the patio off for 4 hours before we had company.
Yeah, I was in the garage cleaning the cars that nobody looks at.
Yeah. So I
But
think
yeah,
if
no,
you,
it's interesting. Like, I mean, I still feel like I bring up things, and obviously, we're always working on stuff, but it doesn't always get met with the best reception. And I think on his end, he's trying to do the best that he can, and our brains are just wired differently. Um,
yeah,
so, but the problem is if I then am like, okay, well, that's fine. I'm just going to continue to do all this stuff, and not express that. So, like he'll bring the kids to school if I, every day of the week, if I have a meeting in the morning or whatever. So I think we are doing a much better job of like sharing workloads and figuring out, okay, one of us has to do this, the other person does this, and really tag teaming and tackling it, no matter what the responsibility is. But I mean, forever, I'll feel like the more of the load lands on me, because if I don't think about it, it's not going to be thought about.
yeah. But at least it's in the right direction where it's, a lot of communication goes into making you feel better about things instead of you're just letting things go that bother you or taking care of everything yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can definitely like feel a difference if you feel heard and supported, and like there's just a general difference in life if you feel like you're going through life with somebody else that's on your team that understands where you're coming from, wow, that must have been really hard for you. Let me see how I can help next time, or
Yeah.
just kind of always working together on stuff like that. And if it's the opposite, then there's a ton of resentment. Like, and you'll the other day, I think it was on the airplane. I don't remember. I can't remember anything these days. I need to take some brain pills or something. But the other day, somebody was talking. See, I've already lost my train of thought. Oh, the other day on the airplane, somebody was talking about how their husband is just so phenomenal and does all of these amazing things. And that was really cool. I was like, wow, you have a lot of really great things to say about your husband. And then I was like, yikes. Maybe I should work on that. I should definitely have more things that are good to say about my husband. And maybe I err on the side of like being too hard on him. But I've just seen so many people that are almost like trapped in their how they feel, and these moms that are just like there's like a blank stare because they don't have the support. They take on way too much. They're cooking, cleaning, taking care of their kids. Like, what was that stat you said something
Oh,
about?
yeah. Well, this lady was saying that she sees a lot of issues with when the household responsibilities are not divided evenly. So I think the stat was in 2024 that working women as well, they do 2 times the amount of household responsibilities as their male counterparts. So like 1.9 hours women spent a day, while males spent 1 hour. And so that right there, just think about, if you're always doing more around the house, you're always doing the cooking, you're always doing the laundry, you're not getting help in those areas, and you're also working. This is not even counting the childcare aspect of things. Like,
Right.
you're probably doing more hours of childcare too. So you're doing much more on the household side of things. You're doing much more on the childcare responsibility. You're also working. So how would anyone in their right minds not develop a resentment because they're the one that is just handling shit while the other person is providing for the family?
Oh, that one just gets me going.
So they were like, that's what?
Good for fucking you.
Oh my God. But that was like, she was a big proponent of, hey, I don't do my husband's laundry. Like, we do the kids' laundry together. I do my laundry. He does his laundry. So, like, he's a big boy. He can take care of his responsibilities. And she said that made her feel better personally because she wasn't having to take care of one more thing.
I mean, think of how many people you talk to that it's like laundry is just like the bane of their existence because there's so many little people clothes and you're just like,
Yes. And if you have multiple kids, it just adds up. Imagine having 4 or 5 kids.
no.
Laundry would
The
be
other day
full
was
time.
like, I really want a third kid, but I just can't do more laundry. And I was like, I
I feel you.
well, I didn't really
There's
identify with
other
that.
reasons in addition to laundry that I am
Yeah.
not for it, but laundry would be would not be a
I'm
highlight.
not on board for the 3 kids for many reasons in addition to laundry. But imagine if your husband did his laundry. I mean, I got in a whole laundry fight the other day. Just like, can you pay attention to the quantity of laundry that you are putting through? Sometimes the dirty hamper, sometimes the floor. Could you just pay attention to that? Because the laundry that I do every week is starting to get really stressful.
Yeah.
I did have a decrease in laundry the next week. But
I don't think
I could be like, you're doing your laundry, we're putting a hamper in your bin, and I'm doing my laundry because most of my laundry is dry cleaned. So
go. See, whatever works best for you and whatever you feel best about, that you're not developing all these resentments every single day. It's a huge thing
clearly
that
that one was the
contributes
trigger.
to wanting to kill your husband. I didn't see this. I was in a group of women we were meeting, and they were all trying to start up careers again. And they were trying to start working. And I felt so bad. They were all sitting there and be like, I just can't get any work done because I'm trying to work again, but I still have all the household responsibilities on me. And so I have to take care of the laundry. I have to do all the cleaning. I have to have all the cooking ready. And then I'm still taking care of the kids too. So there's no time to work. And so how am I supposed to have a career again? And I was like, well, make your fucking husband do something. I'm sorry. She's like, yeah, we've talked about that.
oh no. Yeah, that wouldn't work for anybody. Well, I do think that's part of the problem with like the stay-at-home work stuff now, where like you can work from home more.
Right.
Is that, then sometimes the woman takes on even more responsibility, feeling like, okay, well, I can save money if we watch our kid from home while I'm working. Like,
yeah, no.
That's very impressive. Not going to happen over here. I'll pay for that. I will pay for the daycare. I mean, I'm looking into hiring somebody to come in and help me with my laundry. That's how far I have fallen.
Yes, like 100%, like a house taker.
A house taker?
House taker. What is it called?
I'm like out for a house taker. I don't know what that means. I don't think that's what it is. A house manager?
Yes, a house manager. I think that's what I meant.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's what I
A
need.
house manager.
I need somebody to
I need
I
a
need
house
somebody
manager.
to pick up my kids from the house. Actually, no. Just roll it from the top. I need someone to wake my kids up in the morning,
Yep.
get them ready for school, drive them to school. Then the daycare's going to take them during the day. I can probably pick them up and manage those couple hours before they go to
That's like the
bed.
worst part, though. I don't know.
Yeah,
I
that is.
can handle the weekend for like an hour right after snack time. I don't know. They're just always so fussy and yelling at you all the time. I don't know.
Yeah,
Our kids are great. We love having kids. We have to repeat having them mantra.
you keep that mantra. It did make me feel bad when Justin was like, "It sounds like you hate
You
our
hate your
kids," and I
kids.
was like, "That's fair." I think I was having a bad day, but just generally, I love my children.
It's
Obviously,
just it's very
is
hard
that
when
obvious?
yeah, when they're having a tough time. And then
Yeah, for the last 2 years,
three,
for the last their entire lives.
their whole lives. Some people say it gets better, some people say it gets worse.
Oh my!
But
I
I
feel
guess
as if once again we are very off topic. I think we
shoot.
started with the comparison that people continue to make about themselves and all of that. And somehow we once again got started bashing our children.
There's no hope.
There's no hope for us. I just don't even know what to call the episode because, like, how do you call it 17 different things that we randomly talked about? And we didn't finish a thought. Like, finish a thought. That's tough.
It's all right. It can be just random thoughts
There
from
you go.
Brenna and Meagan that no one asked for.
Nobody asked for. But did we kind of wrap up, as I can't recall what we have said on this episode or last, did we did we wrap up kind of the comparison topic as far as like making sure, we're not holding on to resentments, and if we are, trying to figure out strategies on how to help tackle those resentments. I think one of our really good friends we were talking to the other day, and she was like getting frustrated about household tasks, and she understood she was building resentment because of the household tasks that she was taking on more so, and she was like, I think I've realized that we're just going to make a shared list, a shared to-do list, in our notes, and then we can both check off and see what needs to be done, and that makes me feel better. So I'm really
Yeah.
interested to see how that went, because that might be a good strategy for some people. That could
Yeah.
work.
Hey, if you got it written down and you feel good about it, as long as both people contributed to the list.
Yeah. Just go on a spree of checking off things. It's like, yeah. Well, there's just an overwhelming amount to do on the to-do list at all times. So I think, if one person, that's what it was, is she was saying that way we can see everything that needs to be done. And then if I'm like taking care of all these things, then you can see how much I'm doing. And then I don't have
Right.
resentment because maybe you can take some of these things off my plate because you realize that I'm stressed or whatever. So I don't know. I feel like that's a good strategy. I don't think Justin would like actually look at his cell phone to look
It's
at
not a bad plan. And
that
then
list.
some people, you'd be able to see what the person's doing because some people might not even realize that you're doing all of this. It just gets
Yeah,
done magically.
right. That too. Like there's just some magical thing about the spot on the floor by the laundry hamper where when the clothes go there, then they end up in the hamper.
And someone does it. It just
And
ends
then
up folded
magically
again.
my clothes are folded. Weird.
Oh, like we were talking about, let's not make it so easy on the
Yeah.
husbands. Make it harder.
Yeah. Let's once again strive for more. And then I think that is a big contributing factor about feeling better about your day, yourself, like your parenting journey. If you really feel like you have a teammate, Like the best days that we have is, I mean, we're always busy, but the best days that we have is one of us takes care of one thing, the other one, while the other one's taking care of another thing, or, we're both jointly, like the other day he helped me put away the laundry. I was like, hallelujah. But we're both jointly knocking tasks out on our to-do list. And so
Yeah.
you just feel good about that.
Yeah. I think everyone just wants to be supported with the partner that they're choosing to be with for their whole entire lives. And so when you're not being supportive and you're not helping with anything that's going on, then you're obviously just like, you're going to feel like you're in a deep dark hole. And you can't come out.
That could be the title.
Motherhood, a deep dark hole.
Yeah. Fair. That sums it up.
Speaking of, it also feels like a deep dark hole. Random topic. At what point did they start sleeping?
Oh, I've heard a lot of different answers on that one. So.
I have one pro tip. If your kid started sleeping at 1 week old,
don't tell people that.
Don't tell someone that. Don't say it. And don't also then say, it was probably because we had a really good routine with him.
Yeah. No. Just don't share those inner thoughts.
Keep it to yourself. It wasn't you.
You did nothing good. Like,
you did it.
It was your kid. Your kid slept. We've tried all the tips and tricks. Sometimes they sleep. Sometimes they don't. In your case,
Sometimes
they're
yelling at you at the door to let me the fuck out of here.
Has she said that yet?
No, not fuck and let me the fuck out. It's just, God damn it, let me out.
Oh,
so that's
good too.
Good. Yeah. It could be worse. It could be
yeah,
worse.
no, that is an interesting one.
But we've tried all the routines. The problem is that now she's napping. She's old enough to where the nap is affecting her, and
the daycare's not helpful.
the daycare wants her. The daycare's making her nap. They're like, I can't take care of this bitch all day. She needs to nap.
I mean, honestly, you're just like, don't talk to it. Don't look at it.
I agree, though. Like, when I go the full day without, we're trying now when we have her to not let her nap. And you're like, oh my God, I couldn't ask someone else to do this.
Please. Just like some quiet time.
And people are like, throw her in a room. Have quiet time for an hour and a half. So we made it 5 minutes.
Perfect.
We tried to put her back in her room, leave her in there. She's like, I'm all done with quiet time. And she starts screaming and walking out. It's like, you spend the whole hour putting her back in the room 20 million times.
Tablet time.
She was like, could I watch my show in quiet time?
I mean, why not?
Like, sure. Do you also want ice cream?
You can take a snack in there.
You can have your
snacks
sugar.
make everyone feel better.
Everything goes great if I just stuff her with sugar and let her have her show.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah.
What's not to love about that? Toddler hyped up on sugar that hasn't slept ever.
It doesn't go well like the next day and the next day. It's a compounding effect.
Right.
So.
Yeah, Jacqueline came over and Ava was playing with her dollhouse and she was like, see, this is so much better. She's acting so much better than when you let her watch TV. And I was like, I have no response to that.
I saw a lot of people posting online too about how much worse their kids are when they watch TV, and we really noticed
I
that.
feel like there's accuracy to that for sure.
I agree, and they were like, we really noticed like a difference, and
in the moment, it's just not necessarily going to happen for me. Like we're just going to show it up.
It might, and then we might just have to deal with more meltdowns. And they had like 4 boys or something, and they were like, we really realized we're just trying to make it easier on ourselves, and that's not okay to do to our children. I was like, the fuck?
Trigger.
Good for you.
It's really impressive. The more I keep talking, the more I realize, like,
Maybe we should adjust our parenting.
maybe we
Maybe it
should have
should be,
rethought
come
there.
on the show and tell us some things we can improve on.
Maybe we need to get literally get somebody that can help us.
When you're
As we
comparing
clearly,
yourself to other people, we're here to make
yeah,
you feel better again.
yeah, I think that can be our thing. Somebody said I said something the other day, and someone's like, I think these are the things that you should be telling your therapist. I was like,
Oh,
that's fair. Maybe I once again should keep these thoughts to myself.
do you remember what you said?
But probably something about not enjoying spending time with my kids. I think it was
Oh,
along those
yeah.
lines, which is we kind of touched about on earlier. People get really upset when you say things like that. You should just
Well, when
think
they're
those
just
things.
like yelling at you the whole time that you're with them, I don't really
Yeah,
know who enjoys that.
no, it's just
We
a
enjoy the
lot.
fun moments.
Yeah, the fun moments are fun, and just I think that's what the transition from 2 to 1, from 1 to 2, is the most hard. Is that somebody's always upset about something, um,
Yeah.
all the time, and so Justin's like, "Well, it's just your reaction to it. Like you got to control your reaction to it." And I'm like, "Well, I feel like I'm in fight or flight mode 100% of the time because somebody's always screaming at me, like all the time. And so I'm trying to figure out why that's enjoyable to be screamed at.
Yeah.
You
It's not
apparently
for
can't
me.
say that. You can't say that.
Well, we'll get comments on it, I guess.
Okay, well, now that we have rambled and not talked about one topic
What
like
we
we
were
were gonna
wanting to
talk
talk
about,
about.
was there anything
Is
that
there anything
else that you
else?
wanted to randomly bring up?
One of my other moments that I wanted to talk about. I don't think so. I think that was
Oh,
it.
you had one. Then you're like, oh,
I was debating whether I should share it.
so you did have one.
Basically, I was thinking about all the rough things with motherhood, and then obviously your body changes are one of that. Thinking about having another kid, it's got to get worse, right? So our body changed from the first kid, and then it got worse for the second kid. And as I was running down the hallway, I was on my period, and I was running down the hallway, and
Where's this
the
going?
my tampons just fell out. And I was like, we used to play basketball games with tampons and never had an issue. And I was not running. I was like speed walking. And just like,
What?
it's loose in there. So I don't ever remember a tampon just falling out of the blue by walking. So the body changes. We can probably cut this part.
I don't remember you telling me this story.
So maybe someone
That
else has
was
had a
random.
similar
Maybe
experience.
that's what we should do and not try and hone in on one topic, is just come up with the
Hit a lot.
random musings of Megan and Brenna.
Yeah.
Not that anyone cares,
But here they
but
are.
I don't think that we can like organize it
This was
A
not
to
cohesive.
Z. This was worse than the first one by far.
Sorry. I was supposed to organize, but I just
This
kept
was your
thinking of
job, was
different
to come up
ideas.
with topics to talk about, and then we
Yeah.
were just gonna ready, fire, aim.
Yeah. We dropped the ball, but maybe someone has enjoyed the things that people have said to us, the shitty things that we do. And, as
Just
always,
generally making you feel better about yourself. I
yes.
think could
And
be.
I think we'll just leave it with just as always, don't make it so easy and have expectations and get your partner to be there for you 50-50 in everything. They should be jointly going along this ride with you, with the children, with the household responsibilities. And if that's not happening for you, you should make a change with it. It's also on you too, to not just keep doing everything, right? Like,
Somebody
don't make it
said,
so easy.
oh, now I'm going to butcher it. Dang it. I need to write these things down. What you are not changing, you're choosing, I
Oh,
think is what
God,
they
that's
said.
good. Yeah, yeah.
And so, I'm not a big motivational, like I don't listen to a bunch of motivational things, but I saw that somewhere. What you're not changing, you're choosing.
Yeah.
And I think
So let's
that's
stop
fair.
choosing to have full responsibility for everything and putting ourselves in this situation.
Yeah.
And if your
Hire
partner
the
is
house cleaner.
refusing to change and help you,
Yeah.
you gotta figure that one out.
The good news is next episode, we will have someone else on besides
Oh,
just
thank
us.
God.
So,
Yes, we have a guest.
yeah,
I think
that's
people are
very
gonna
exciting.
respond better to that episode.
I would hope so, because I am bored with us.
I am
So
too.
I think
That's why I just am like, we've got to be able to come up with something better. But no, we didn't. We
no,
didn't
every
hit
time
it.
it seems like it's going to be good, and then it's just
Yeah,
a letdown. So
yeah,
this next one, if you
will be
have
good.
made it this far, it's going to be good next time, because we have a really exciting guest. So
Yeah.
stay
Thanks for
tuned
watching. And
for
we'll
next
sign off.
time.
We're delirious at this point.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks,
See
guys.
you later.